Today we're going to be talking about how football players can gain weight this offseason. So the first thing you got to keep in mind as a football player if you want to gain weight is calories in versus calories out. If you are trying to gain weight, you need to stay in something called a calorie surplus. So that means consuming more calories on a day-to-day basis than what you burn. And you want to stay probably, I would say, 20 to 40% above your break-even point. So what do I mean by break-even point? How do you find that? So break-even point is how many calories you burn on a day-to-day basis. So let's say it's 1,000 calories. A way that you could track that is you could easily, guys, just go to Google, go to Safari, whatever, and just type in calorie burning tracker or calorie tracker tool, whatever. There might be a watch that you could wear, a Fitbit, some of you strap around your chest while you work out, while you're going throughout your day, just to figure out how many calories you're burning. Then it's simple. You just look at the back of the ingredient label, or you look at the ingredient label on the back of your food, figure out how many calories are in that food, and you just got to make sure 20 to 40% above your break-even point. So let's say you burn 1,000 calories a day. I recommend 1,200 to 1,400 calories a day to keep you in that calorie surplus, which can help you gain weight. A second thing you want to keep in mind when it comes to gaining weight is protein consumption. As football players, you guys, we are still athletes. We are not trying to put on a whole bunch of weight, get super fat, and be super slowed down. We are still trying to remain athletic, especially you skill position guys, quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, linebackers. You got to have some type of athleticism. So you want to put on lean muscle mass, and how you're able to put on muscle mass is through protein consumption. I recommend at least 1 gram of protein per pound of the desired body weight you're trying to get to. So let's say you're 160 pounds, you want to get to 175. I recommend trying to consume 175 grams of protein a day. Now, don't overdo it. Don't consume 220 because your body can only absorb a certain amount of protein, but 175 is still a lot of protein that you have to consume. So you're going to have to be eating, you're going to have to be supplementing. I recommend trying to get at least 2 protein shakes in a day to help you meet your daily protein goals. Now, if you guys would like a great protein powder to help you hit that, check out that very first link in the description below, fellas, for our AG Labs Whey Protein Powder. This is our cinnamon snickerdoodle flavor, and I say our because I own this company with my brother. We developed a line of supplements specifically for athletes to help you guys with weight gain and performance. So again, check out that very first link in the description below. If you use the promo code FIRST25, FIRST25 at checkout, you get 25% off your first protein order or any order on our site. Now, we can't talk about putting on muscle mass and putting on size if we don't mention what you should be doing as an athlete in the gym. So fellas, the best rep range, a lot of people think in the gym that you need to lift all this weight and max out 1 to 2 rep max, 3 rep max. Like guys, that's lifting for strength, and lifting for strength is absolutely important. But if you're trying to put on size, you have to lift in a hypertrophy range, which means a muscle growth range. And the best rep range for that is going to be an 8 to 12 rep range. So like, let's use an exercise like bench press, right? You can max out on bench, you could do 1 to 2 rep max, see how much you could lift, but that's not necessarily going to help your chest get bigger. It's going to help you get stronger, and strength is absolutely important. I'm not saying to neglect this completely as a football player, but you should be doing like reps for 8, reps for 12, and each week you should be trying to progressively increase the amount of weight that you are doing. They call that progressive overload. So if you're doing like, let's say 185 for 8 reps, the next week maybe we put like 2.5s on each side and try to go 190 for 8 reps, because that will help you not plateau, and you consistently pushing yourself in that rep range week in and week out is what's going to help you put on healthy muscle mass. And again, guys, that's what we're looking to put on as football players. Now, something that football players are also concerned with, like we briefly mentioned, is like, if I gain a bunch of weight, am I going to lose athleticism? Am I going to lose speed? Now, like we talked about, like you want to put on muscle mass, healthy muscle mass, to still maintain some type of athleticism. You want to be as heavy as possible, but as low body fat percentage as possible. But also, guys, what you can neglect in the gym is like explosive movements. So you could be lifting like a bodybuilder in that hypertrophy range, and you have to. You got to put on size, you have to put on weight, especially as a football player, and especially based on certain positions that some of you play, like running back, linebacker, etc. Now, you can't neglect the explosive Olympic lifts, box jumps, because that is ultimately what can help you keep that fast twitch. As a football player, we play a fast twitch sport. A lot of athletic trainers out there talk about football players like, oh, you should only train like athletes, you shouldn't lift like a bodybuilder. And yeah, that's really easy to say when you're talking about like a professional athlete or a college athlete who's already big enough, who already has the size. But you high school and youth players, you got to lift like a bodybuilder a little bit to be able to put on size, but just don't neglect the explosive stuff. You should have at least 1 to 2 days a week where you're focused on plyometrics, like jump training, box jumps, Olympic lifts like a power clean, a one-arm dumbbell snatch, anything that forces you to exert all-out effort, because you exerting all-out effort activates something in your body called fast twitch muscle fibers. And a fast twitch fiber is what you use when you sprint. So if you can activate that in the gym still, and still be trying to put on weight, you probably, you know, if you gain a ton of weight, you might lose a little bit of speed, but you're not going to lose all of it, and you are not going to be an unathletic player.